takeaways to go home with and run with. The other thing I'm going to be getting into is what we do, how we do it, how we deliver it. And if there's any questions, obviously I'm happy to answer those on the way through. So when I look at achieving immediate success, first thing that comes to my mind is this possible? And I'm sure a lot of you felt the same way if you were looking at the title of the presentation as opposed to, yeah, who I get to go for breakfast. When you look at achieving immediate success, just show of hands, how many of you, I'm going to ask you, how many think it's possible and how many of you don't think it's possible? So there's two options. How many of you do think it's possible? Show of hands. Awesome. And how many of you don't think it's possible? Awesome. Thank you for your honesty. I appreciate that. Well, so the first thing I did, being the analytical that I am, is I went to the dictionary and I went, well, what does this mean anyways? Because all of us had an immediate reaction to what was going on. We went back into our experiences, pulled on it and went, have I ever done that before, yay or nay? And then we based our opinion on that. And that's the way most people think. But that's not really thinking, that's regurgitating information from the past. Does that make sense? Cool. So when we look at achieving, according to the dictionary, or Google's dictionary anyways, it's a verb, meaning to do something, and it means reaching or attaining a desired objective, level, or result by effort or courage. So let's look at this a little closer. It's reaching for or attaining a desired objective, level, or result by effort, skill, or courage. And you'll notice that the most important part of this isn't about the end result, it's about the effort, skill, and courage, because it's a verb and it's about doing something. So when we think about achieving something, it's a action, it's a process, it's a development of something. So keep that in mind. Then we look at immediate, and according to the dictionary, again, it's an adjective, occurring or done at once, in an instant. So when we look at something occurring, done at once, in an instant, we want to really look at this idea of achieving instantly. And what does that really mean? We have to break it down into a succession of achievements. We have to look at it as doing something in this moment, right here, right now, that's moving us towards a goal or objective. Yes? Making sense so far? Awesome. I like the head nodding. And we look at success, and this is the noun. This is the accomplishment of the aim or purpose. The accomplishment of the aim or the purpose is now the end goal. Now we're looking at the noun. Now we're looking at the touchdown. We're looking at the goal line. We're looking at whatever it is, that milestone that we're looking to have set. And if we look at achieving success, immediate success, we have to start looking at what are the things that we're doing right here, right now, in order to move us towards our goals. Because in any given moment in time, we're going to be doing something, we're going to be achieving something. So in essence, we're always achieving success as long as we're moving towards those goals or objectives. So in fact, not only is it possible to achieve immediate success, but it's almost inevitable as long as you have a long-term goal set up for where you want to be. Does that make sense? Awesome. Henry Ford put it this way: whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And the importance of Henry Ford saying that is because he wasn't overly educated. He wasn't the kind of guy that was always on purpose and always on plan. But we all know Ford Company. We all know the history of it. You can't escape it. So you know that if that's his mentality and that's his philosophy, that there's got to be some merit behind it. So let's look a little further into this idea. Most people, when they look at business or a business coach, are coming to the table with a traditional business model. And that traditional business model says that 75% of businesses are going to fail in the first year, 90% fail within the first 5 years. The objective is to keep your debt low, to cut your expenses. By the way, sales is an expense, training is an expense, and the only way to get money out of your company, to get money through dividends out of your company in order to pay less taxes. Now, I know a lot of you in this room, and a lot of you are going, like, that sucks. And even if you just look at that sucks, right? I mean, do you want to live that way? It just feels arduous. It feels hard. It feels like every day is going to be obstacles and, one thing after another where you can't set up for achievement. One of the biggest differences between us and Awareness Strategies, our company, and the way a lot of people look at business is that we are abundance focused, which means that we take that old traditional way of doing business and we set it aside and go, yeah, that was great then, but that's not how we're going to operate. The way we operate is growth focused. We want you to start looking forward and looking bigger and better, and how do you get there faster, easier? We are training focused because wherever you are right now is simply wherever you are right now. You need to know what that is, but you cannot let that stop you. Because whether you like it or not, every race starts at the starting line, not at the finish line. You have to start at the start. And then you move towards the finish line. So you have to know where you're at, where you want to go, and then create a plan for being able to get there. We want you to continually learn, train, and be focused on that. Learn to see opportunities everywhere. Everywhere. And in fact, when you start seeing that every time that something goes wrong, there's actually an opportunity there. It has to. Because if you're only seeing opportunities where opportunities lie, then everybody else in the room can see those opportunities as well. And if everybody else in the room can see the opportunity, in fact, it's not really an opportunity, it's almost the end of it. Something is going to have to change. It's like the real estate market. When everybody's buying a house, is that the time to buy? Now it's the time to sell. So you almost want to be going in the opposite direction of the masses. So when everybody else can see the opportunities, you want to be holding back and waiting for something to happen. But there's an opportunity in that as well, isn't there? You want to learn to say yes to great ideas. Oftentimes in an older traditional business model, they want to hold you back and go, wait, you want to think about this, you want to be realistic. We all know a lot of realistic people. And most realistic people have created themselves a little box that they live in, and they are afraid to go out of that box. But in order to create that growth and the success that you're looking for, you have to be willing to say yes when you don't have a clue what you're doing or what you've just agreed to. Now, if you look back in your lives, you'll probably notice that those moments where you said yes to something where you had no clue what you got yourself into, as terrifying as it was probably the most exhilarating moment of your life as well, was it not? Yeah, and it's those exhilarating moments, and Peter's killing himself in the back going, yeah, I got a lot of exhilarating moments in my life going, oh my God, I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's okay, because you figured out that's the whole purpose of a goal, is that you don't know how to do it. If you knew how to do it, it would be a to-do item. Because you don't know how to do it, that makes an excellent goal, and now we get to start thinking, now we get to start growing, now we get to start doing things that you've never done before in order to create things that you've never created before. And that's where the excitement lies, that's where fulfillment lies, that's where your purpose lies in life. You can't get it any other way. You need to learn how to say yes to great ideas that come your way. You also want to learn how to accept support, because with that new idea, you don't know how to do it, you have to find other people that do know how to do it. And it doesn't matter what it is, if it's figuring out how to get a PowerPoint up and running, or if it's hiring engineers. You find people that know how to do these things and elicit their assistance, but you have to be willing to get that support. Always be learning, run over that, let go of ownership and control and lead. You will never gain success if you need to own everything, right? It, again, comes back to business, comes back to real estate. If you own all of your assets, then you're holding yourself down. Whereas if you control all of your assets, now you're in a much more powerful position, right? Even keeping your assets within your company, you don't really own them, the company owns them, but you control them. Likewise, with all of the business choices that you're making, all of the things that are going on in your company, you want to have that same mentality in order to let go of certain jobs. Allow other people to have ownership of those jobs, but you get to sit back and be in a controlling position. Does that make sense? So there's a lot of little aspects, little mindset tweaks that make an abundant mentality much different from an old traditional business model of just going out and doing it. This is our depiction of the stick person. We borrowed this from Dr. Thurman Fleet in 1934, who was explaining to his patients how the mind works. We've modified it slightly in order to explain a fundamental importance, I believe, in how we create our successes. So basically what it says is that the area in red is our conscious mind. It's that part of us that thinks. You can think of it as your brain. Then it moves into the rest of the head where we have our feelings, our emotions, our conditioned mind, our subconscious mind, if you want to put it that way. And then the yellow part below our neck is our body, and that's the part of us that takes action. The way it works is our thoughts, when we become emotionally involved with it, we make a decision. We move that thought into our subconscious mind, we store it in there, and it becomes part of our belief system. Our subconscious mind communicates to our conscious mind and to our body through our feelings. Our feelings will then move us forward to take action or back into inaction, either way creating our results. And this is what we refer to as the process of manifestation. It's the way everything has ever been created. Everything that's man-made has been created. Somebody had to think about it. They became emotionally involved with that idea. They went, yeah, that's a great idea. I think I'll go and build a table. I'll build a projector. I'll build a laptop. And we build things based on this. Everything you've ever done, you got the idea, oh, I want to go into business for myself. You became emotionally involved with that idea. Eventually you ingrained it in your mind as a belief of, yes, I can do this, and you went and took action on it and got things in place. Make sense? Everything you've ever created happened according to that process. So if we look at this process of manifestation, we're looking at the root cause or the element that causes change in the first place. And if I go back a bit here, you'll notice in order to change a belief or a behavior that we have, you're working away and you're thinking, oh man, this is just way too much like work. I have way too much stuff to do. There's got to be an easier way. Maybe I'll hire an assistant. Awesome idea. And then 3 weeks go by. Wow, man, I really should hire an assistant because, this work is really piling up and, the little pathway into my desk is getting smaller and smaller. And 6 months later, you still don't have an assistant and your piling cabinet is becoming, this mountain of work behind your head. So you've thought about it, but the issue is you haven't become emotionally involved with that idea to the point of making a decision to change, to take action on hiring an assistant. So what we want to look at is this blue part, those feelings, the beliefs, the subconscious mind, and what is really in there and how do you start changing that. There is a process that can get to the root cause of these ideas and create long-lasting change. What we do at Awareness Strategies is focusing in on that subconscious mind, focusing in on your beliefs and helping you to actually change those beliefs that are in your subconscious mind. Now, obviously, if they're subconscious, are you going to be aware of what they are? No, because they're below your consciousness. You're just not aware of them. It's not part of your daily concerns and what's going on. But we will go in and figure out how to actually change those beliefs for you. And as Peter and a few people in this room, actually quite a few people in this room, nice, have discovered, is that through the process that we've developed called success therapy, we can actually go in and change the programming of your mind so that you are functioning at a different level. So we call them success therapy sessions. They're 2 hours each. They're client focused, so it depends on whatever you are going through in that moment. So if it's you need an assistant and your piling cabinet is getting too big, whether it's your time management, whatever it is, we're looking at you and your schedule and your lifestyle and what you want to create, and looking at if there was just one thing that you could change in order to create more success in your company? What might it be? And that's where we start. We get to the root cause. We help eliminate the issues that you're dealing with. So what are some of the things that we deal with? We'll deal with stress, anxiety, worry, doubt, fear, all of the negative emotional stresses that somebody will go through in the span of a normal day. When you take on bigger and better goals, you are going to be challenging yourself with bigger and better ideas or notions. That means that you as an individual have to change in some way, shape, or form. It means letting go of fear, letting go of some ownership ideas, letting go of whatever it is that's stopping you from allowing you to go and do the things that you want to do. We also will work in the family area. So maybe it's an area in relationships about miscommunication or conflict avoidance. And a lot of people won't go on sales appointments because they're afraid of rejection. And it really has nothing to do with this person that they haven't even met yet. It has everything to do with everything they've ever experienced in their past. So just like when I first asked you, is it possible to achieve immediate success? And you went back in the past and went, have I ever done it before? And can I do it again? And you bring that to the present moment. The exact same thing is going on when you make a phone call, when you go into a meeting. Your brain goes back and says, what is this experience going to be like? It gives you a bunch of information. It communicates to you through your feelings. And then you either take action on it, move forward, and go, yeah, this is going to be awesome because all my meetings in the past were awesome. Or you're going to go, oh my God, I don't know, you know, they're wearing black. My God, the last time I met in a meeting with somebody who was wearing black, it was hell. Oh my God, I can't stand it when people wear black and I go into a meeting. Right? We don't necessarily have these conscious thoughts because they sound a little ludicrous. But we really do have these tapes going through our head that have these ludicrous ideas like you can't and you're not good enough, and they're silly. It's not true. We're dealing with the manageable things, the practical, tactical things like time management, perfectionism. Now, she's obviously experiencing a little bit of guilt and obligation in getting other jobs done, dealing with those things too. Change, risk, authoritarianism, right? And some of you may be able to relate to this. I don't know. But I have an issue with I can't even say the word. Authority? That. And the funny thing that I found about that, being a little bit of a rebel that I was that when I went into business for myself, I really hated people telling me what to do and how to do it, especially when it was me. Now, how ridiculous is that? It's like, okay, you got to wake up at 8 and open the store at 9. I'm like, nobody tells me what to do. And I'm having this stupid little argument inside my head because all of a sudden there was this authoritarianism going, you have to do this, you have to run your business like that. And I was blocking myself because I had issues with authoritarianism. Sounds ridiculous, but it's true. And the drama diva. None of you guys have drama divas in your office, right? Or share driver's licenses with them. Right, those ones that always something tumultuous has to be going on. And if there's nothing exciting going on in the office, well then, you know, it's not a good day. And the issue with that is it makes for an exciting office, however, not much gets done. So it's being able to just rewrite those little programming, those little things that you've identified, well, that's just the way I am. I'm just really logical, I'm just realistic, I just, you know, I have to put my head down to the grindstone and inflict pain every day in order to get things done. And the issue is it's not true. I get it that it's the way you've lived life up until now and that's the way you associate with yourself. The issue is it's stopping you from becoming as successful as you can be, and we want to be able to help you to let go of that so that success can become more effortless, more easy. We want to work on the better side of creating successful outcomes, familiarizing yourself with supportive beliefs and positive emotions. There's a bizarre thing that happens. And most of you will know this if you're kind of define yourself as workaholics. You know when you go on holidays and you go to the beach and you're thinking, my God, there's got to be something I need to do right now. Sid's going, I have so never experienced that in my life.
Where's the next grade?
For those of you who have the exact same thing happens at work, you need to be able to let go of doing the details and start to delegate those details to other people, and then all of a sudden you're left there going, well, now what do I do? If everybody else is doing my job, what do I do? And for some people it's terrifying because that feeling is so unfamiliar that they don't know how to deal with it. So what we want to do is familiarize yourself with those feelings of success, with feelings of ease, with feelings of, success in a different way so that you can start to take action on those. Because if those feelings of at ease and success start to freak you out, you'll start to self-sabotage and then you go the other way. You need to be able to create successful outcomes for yourself and familiarize yourself with them. You want to train your mind to be abundance-oriented. It is a completely different philosophy, I guarantee it, from lack of mentality. There's a whole philosophy that goes behind it, and oftentimes people go, well, I don't get it. When I don't want to do something, I don't want my kids to slam the door. Well, what am I supposed to tell them? I don't want them to slam the door. And they have a real issue trying to figure out what the opposite side of that is. I'm like, close the door quietly? Oh, that's not going to work. How are they going to hear me? Right? We have this whole bundle of this is just the way it is. We need to be able to create a space where we start to study and understand abundance mentality in order to move forward and create all of the beneficial emotions that we want, to create that satisfaction, that sense of freedom, all of the reasons that we went into business for ourselves, right? It's to create that freedom, that sense of being able to organize something and create something bigger and better than ourselves. We need to be able to allow ourselves and give ourselves permission to be able to feel these things in order to be able to take action on them in that direction. Does that make sense? Awesome. So as Brad alluded to earlier, we also do executive coaching. For me, that includes a 30-minute weekly call and a monthly success therapy session. And it becomes a package so that we're creating lifestyle changes for people. We're getting to the root cause of the issues that they are addressing during the week, while they're in the trenches, while they're making those phone calls, with whatever it is that's going on for them. Because more often than not, even though their big distraction in the week might have been the traffic on Deerfoot, when we work with and let go of the tension and stress that causes somebody to get anger issues on major highways, we start to notice that that actually affects their work as well. Start to realize it's not really about traffic on Deerfoot, it's really about their impatience with people that don't do things the way they do. And oh, that's why I haven't hired an assistant. Because it really annoys me when people don't do things exactly the way I do. So it's not really about traffic on Deerfoot, and it's not really about the assistant. It's really about a mindset that creates the actions that we take in a given day. Make sense? Awesome. So I think I've got to be near time.
You have 10 minutes.
Really? That's impressive. Awesome. So again, I want to thank you for your time, and I want to open it up to any questions that you guys might have about what it is that we do and how we do it. Awesome.
Could you tell us a success story with the person well hidden in the story?
Excellent. Can I tell you a success story of the person well hidden in the success story? Meaning me or meaning anybody?
No, just somebody you've worked with.
Somebody we've worked with, absolutely. So successes are fantastic and across the field. Oftentimes people will ask me, how long do I work with somebody? And my answer can be as short as 2 hours or as long now as I have a client that's been with me for over 8 years. And the benefit is if you have an issue that is something like, can I borrow you, Peter?
Sure.
Excellent. So Peter came to me and he wanted to get rid of his, not his love for chocolate, shall we say, but kind of the when chocolate controls him as opposed to him controlling the chocolate. Won't call it an addiction. To be able to get rid of that and eliminate it. So in a 2-hour session, we worked on his attraction towards chocolate and helped him to eliminate that. How long has it been since you were chocolate-free by choice?
We did that, December 30th?
Yep.
Yeah,
So since December 30th?
Yeah.
Okay, and you're still going strong?
Yeah.
Nice. Excellent. Another client that I worked with was referred to me. He had prostate cancer, and the reason that he was referred to me is because he was terrified of going in for surgery. He had had a bad experience with surgery in the past, and his father had 40 years earlier passed away from going into an operation. That was supposed to be an easy one, like his buddy he had referred to on the weekend. So it was, he just wanted to get rid of the anxiety towards going into the operation. And I said, well, is it okay if we actually work on a few more things, because I think there's a little bit more here going on here than just that. So we started with the one session and eliminated his fear of going into the operation. And prior to working with me, you couldn't even mention the hospital, the doctor, anything, and he would have a full-blown panic attack. He'd break into sweat. Just, you could visibly see that he was panic-struck by the idea of going into the hospital. After a 2-hour session, that was completely eliminated. He was looking forward to it, and he was totally calm about it. Worked with him until the date of the surgery. They were expecting that it had grown to about 120% of the size of his prostate. So they were expecting to take out a huge amount of tissue. When they actually went into surgery, the tumor had reduced, and they only removed 20% of what had previously been on the x-rays, MRIs. So it had shrunk substantially. They removed it. It was easy. He left surgery. They asked him, do you want any painkillers, anything like that? And he was like, no, I am fine. Absolutely. Within days, he was healed. The doctors were blown away. They had no idea how it could happen that easily and effectively. And it was, he contributed to what we had done. I continued to work with this particular individual. He's been my client for 4 years now. And we have taken his income from 0 at that point, so it's pretty easy to double 0, but won't get on that one. Last year, he had one of his best years ever at $250,000. Already in 2014, he's on track for something ridiculous like $600,000, because he's done more in the last 2 months of this year than he had done in the first 6 months of 2013. I have another client who kind of works with me sporadically. He'll work with me for a couple of years, and he leaves and comes back. He'll go and do other modalities of study and things like that, and then he comes back to me. He notoriously will double his income from year to year working with me. So he comes back to make more money in order to go and find another course. So right now he's studying in Scotland, and he'll come back and go, oh, I found this great course, I need to make more money. And we'll go and help him make more money, and he'll be on his way. So those are a few of the success stories. It doesn't matter if they're health related, if they're marital related, if they're business related. I work on them all, and what I like to do is become somebody's confidant. We affectionately refer to it as the bat phone. So when something happens, you pick up the phone and say, Michelle, I need your help. I get a few of those calls every once in a while, but for the most part, it's pretty consistent. Every week, people phone me. I have clients from Australia to Brussels right now, and we work on Skype. My hours are 8 till 5. Their hours are scattered throughout the day, but they all come to me. We work together to share their successes and celebrate their victories, help them to overcome what's not going right, and keep them on track to achieve their goals. Thanks. Any other questions? Sweet. Well, thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it very